If you don't know where you want to get to, do you want to just become a one property person? Do you want to become a millionaire in property? I need to know that. And the difference between what we provide and a normal property estate and developer does is that they just let you basically work on your own. So you're left to work off the knowledge that you have and you don't have, which is quite daunting. You know, people want to get into property, but they don't know, are we buying the right thing? Are we buying at the right value? Is there money in it? Will there be money in it after Brexit? A big question on everybody's head. You know, the market generally, the financial market is very, very turbulent. So one of the major questions we have, lots of people ask us is, if I buy this, am I going to make money tomorrow or am I going to lose money? If anybody remembers, about a year and a half ago, the Chancellor of the Exchequer made a statement that if we Brexit, if we leave Europe, 18%. This is a Chancellor of the Exchequer. This is not somebody sitting on a park bench. Somebody who's responsible for fiscal actions and decisions. His statement was 18% will be written off the property market. Does anybody remember that?
Yeah, we do.
So it's not a small thing that if you're going to buy a property today, do you know that you're going to have some money in it or you're going to lose that 10, 20, 30% you've put into it? So there's lots of uncertainties there. One thing I want to make very clear is that property is still a good medium to become financially rich. It's still a good thing. The problem isn't property, the problem became financial instruments. So when you start buying a property with a mortgage, that's when the whole thing became pear-shaped. So people bought assets, they bought properties, even those who had cash were buying the properties but then refinancing. If the refinances was underpinned by overvaluation, these people ended up with less money than they thought they had. I hope you all understand. Even if you're a novice, you understand. If I buy something for £10,000 and I want to refinance and I want to take out £8,000 to use to buy another property for myself, but when I've valued it and it's not really worth the money it was valued at the time I took the finance out. So somewhat I've taken more money out, but really I've lost the value in the original asset. Simple rule. You don't have to be, property isn't a clever medium. It's a very simplistic medium. Remember this as well. Most people you'll find who are successful property development, and I'm not going to undermine anybody, but most people are quite simplistic. They're not savvy business people. They're very, very clear about the way that they purchase assets. And the general rule in property, and this is a nugget I'm giving you, is profit in property is in the acquisition. To make it simple, the money you make in property is in when you buy it. It's not to do with what you do afterwards. Whatever you do after that is additional profit. But basically, if you buy at the right price, then you make money. If you buy at the wrong price, which is why the market is in turbulence at the moment. Does everybody understand that as well? And the reason I'm not being dismissive of anybody here, because I know the majority of the crowd are first timers, and I want them to understand that if you understand the mechanisms of property, then you're already on a route to success. The other thing you've got going on here is that I'm not really used to these mics, because unless I was singing for someone, but can you hear me, everybody? Yeah. My muscles aren't that good anymore either. Right. Okay. Residual income. Remember, that is also a factor. Means everybody in this crowd should know that they have surplus money to play with. If you don't have that surplus money, then you don't have residual income. It's just a fancy way of saying you got extra cash to play with. If you haven't got the extra cash, then you can't have residual income. So you're talking about taking money that's spare in your bank account and using it to invest into property that makes you more money. That's what you want to do. You want to have a rolling stock that today, if I gave you some advice and said, right, spend £100,000 in a property, tomorrow you should be at a juncture where that £100,000 has become £1 million. Otherwise, it's running a corner shop. You don't want to be doing that. Okay? So what I say to everybody again is that property is a good medium. I repeat it. Property is not a bad thing. It's the financial instruments that have spoiled the market. So remember, you sitting here means you are already in a winner. You're already in the right direction. What you need are the right tools to understand how to acquire an asset. And I hope you all agree upon that. If you buy something at the right price, that's when you get the value. Yes? Does everybody agree upon that?
Yeah.
Okay. No one's going to sleep yet, are they? Anybody go to sleep with the hand up? So I know you've gone to sleep. Okay? Right. So, generally, these points are there in front of you. I'm not going to bore you with details and even the slide. I mean, I'm quite happy to go by the slide, but you can get the slide, we'll email it to you. Not a problem. The slide doesn't have the solutions in it. The slide's a merely a prompt for me to make sure I cover everything with you guys. So, property is good. The way to acquire property is the key. It's how you're going to make money in property. So, does a real estate agent actually tell you how to acquire properties? I've never seen one. Does anybody know of an estate agent says, this is the way to buy this property? Does anybody know of an estate agent? They merely tell you it's below market value. But is that the way to acquire something? If that's the case, the last 15 years, everybody's been talking about BMV, but it was sitting on the edge of people who don't even have any equity left in their assets. So surely the word BMV or below market value didn't really mean anything because it's not coming with deep knowledge, not giving you the tools to assess it. Do we agree upon that as well?
Yeah.
Right. So we've got a difficult environment now, there's uncertainty. There's people out there who want to buy, but they're not sure if they buy, will they make money, or will they lose money? Are they buying at the right price? So one of the things that you will have by talking to us, very simple, is that there is a new model out there that not everybody can actually implement or understand, and that's the model that In One Move Nationwide actually owns. And that model is, how many people can buy anything for about £250,000 cash in London? Do you know how many things you can buy in £250,000 as far as property is concerned in London? Probably a little pigeonhole, is that right? But the point is, even if you put £250,000 into a pigeonhole, as long as you're getting good yield, that's what they, let's take the word yield, just say, what do you get back for your £250,000 per month? Agreed? Simple. How many people can get a real good return on £250,000 in London? Very few. Because in London, the problem you have is, £250,000 will get you about 4%. That's it. If you're really lucky, maybe 5%. So what's the solution? I want to put £250,000 into property, but I want to make sure the money that's coming back to me is good. So the solution that In One Move Nationwide have is, don't invest into London yet. Go out to the rest of the country. So you need to have a slightly open mind about where you would think you would want to put £250,000 in and be safe for two things. Number one, capital growth, because again, it goes back to that point. If you buy the right price, you make money in property. If you buy the wrong price, you lose money. Secondly, do you want more than 4%? I would say I would like 10 or 15%. But as an average outside of London, you're getting anything up to 10 to 15% if you buy at the right price. So who is mad not to take advantage of a discount position? Most of us are all from a continent outside of Europe and we love bargains. Agreed? So, would you rather buy 2 for the price of 1, or would you rather buy 1 but know you're getting a better return back? What is the answer? I think it's simple. I don't have to ask you guys, but that's what I would want. So therefore, In One Move Nationwide, that's why I'm going to use a little spot. to introduce you. We're lucky because I didn't think she was going to turn up, because normally she's too busy to meet anybody. But we have the pleasure of Bavita, I call her, but for everybody, Bobby. You want to stand up and just give everybody a hello, hi. Bobby is not usually in the industry of presenting, so her presentational skills aren't important. The most important thing is she's the lady with the property. Even I have to sometimes, bow down and boo her because I need to get properties off her. So she's the lady to make contact if you want to take advantage of the formula, yeah? And that is buying for less and getting a better return. Okay, so I'm going to give you her introduction. You've seen her now. I'm sure no one's going to forget her face. After this, what I will ask her to do is in between, when we're doing the presentation, so that everyone keeps engaged, she'll go around and she'll give you a form and make sure I'm not important. The tall guy on the left, unimportant. The smart guy there, irrelevant. She's the one you need to actually be talking to, because she's the one who's got the business you want to get into. So there's only one thing I'm telling you to do. Open your mind up and realize, if you're thinking about property, you're ever going to be stuck in property because you can't afford the prices in London. We all know that. You want to get into property, you need to be talking to Bobby, because she has that stock that's going to get you better yield and it's going to be less in cost. And remember, you'll think, well, why do I want to buy something in Newcastle? I accept there's a risk. The risk to anybody here is I can't drive 300 miles up the road to check that property. Agreed? Mm-hmm. Again, Bobby also actually encompasses complete management on that asset. So you're not just buying an asset, you're not just then worrying about it. You also have assured peace of mind that the person who sold you that property is also going to be tied in with you because she wants you to succeed. And that's the difference. The other advantage you have is that you're buying an asset 300-400 miles up the road. Why would you want to buy it unless you didn't have a clever strategy after that? And what's the clever strategy? What do most people forget in property that have been doing in the last 10-15 years, and that's why they've been caught out in this horrible position? And that is, what was the exit? What do I want to do when I bought this property in Newcastle and I'm getting 9% or 10% yield?
Exit strategy.
The exit. And what's the exit? When the capital market recovers, you sell that asset, you make double the money you would have made if you'd invested that $250,000 in London. You take that money and you come back into London. Complicated?
No.
Right. So that is why it does make sense, but you need to be working with assured people. Again, I go back to Bobby, an assured person who's going to be with you because it's in her interest to make sure that you succeed. If you don't succeed, she's out of business. Does that make sense? Estate agents just like to just sell you the asset and then it's up to you. Most estate agents who are local may even want the business for the rental and the management, wonderful. But they're not entrenched with you. You're not holding your hand. They're not part of your success. They're about their rental agency commissions and their sale agreements, and that's it. The difference between In One Move Nationwide and an estate agent is that she's there with you throughout the journey. Another difference between them and an estate agent is she's operating nationwide. She's not a local estate agent that needs to capture 10-15% of the market and she's trying to just sell you what she's got. She has stock across the whole of the country. What's the difference between the stock that she gets and an estate agent gets? That's another question, isn't it? So, okay, she gets it. Estate agent in Newcastle will get it. The difference is the source. It comes back again to simple business practice. If you're buying something at the right source, automatically money is made throughout the whole process. If you're buying at the wrong source or you're sourcing at the wrong place, then there is no money in it. Do we all agree upon that as well? That if you're buying something at the right source, that's when everybody makes money. Now, two main sources of Bobby's stock comes from sister companies that we work with. One is called Rescue My Properties, and it is as it is on the tin. Rescue My Properties. What do you think that's going to mean? I'm going to ask somebody in the crowd because I like to talk to the people I am. Anybody get? Are you not shy? I hope. What's your name?
Somebody who wants to sell out or are motivated to sell out.
Is as it is on the tin. Rescue My Property. This is one of the sources of the properties we get for In One Move nationwide. So you're not getting local properties because somebody wants to sell. You're getting properties that have come to a distressed client. You've got somebody who wants to get out of the property market. If you want to dump your girlfriend or boyfriend, I'm not going down there. I'm saying everyone's a happy couple. But I'm just saying if you want to get rid of something, you're going to let go of it for a discount. Agreed? If you're just selling in the normal market, you're going to discount it 5-10%. If you're getting rid of a problem, can you imagine the type of discount she gets? Because these people are... So one source is something which is unique that the estate agent can never get, and that is distressed stock coming from a company that's been operating for more than 10 years, dealing with a distressed market. So you've got an excellent source of deals. So again, it goes back to if you buy a property at the right price, that's when you make money. The second source is a company called Immediate Bank Claims. This organization predominantly deals with stopping repossessions, stopping evictions. So again, it's a bit like the bad girlfriend and the bad boyfriend situation. When you want to get rid of something or you're losing a relationship, you're going to do anything you can to try and get out of it. Again, so these two sources, we won't go into these are separate organizations, but you can always go up on the website. You can actually ask Bobby when you meet her afterwards, or Lucky, about them. Go in and see what they do, because what they do is they're bringing in stock, which is not just discount, it is distressed discount. So if you were getting a market deal at 20% discount, these properties probably about 50% maybe sometimes. And the difference is these are pre-bank possessions. So it's not the bank hasn't taken over and they're selling them, because when the bank takes them, they sell them at market price. These are people who are trying to get rid of their problem, and they will take anything as long as the buyer's got credit worthiness. So remember, the sources of In One Move nationwide are so good and so unique that they actually give you a better probability of getting a discount in the property that you're acquiring. Okay? Now another topic for today, one gentleman pointed out, the topic of today was buying a property without a mortgage. Is that possible? Does anybody know? Yes. Can you buy a property without mortgage?
Yes. According to what I heard earlier, yeah?
No. The man's got a lot of money here at the front. If you want to get hold of him at the end, you can buy a property without a mortgage. That means with cash. Actually, I think a lot of the topic and a lot of the thinking was financial instruments or clever legal tools. And I think some of you people may know about option deals. Yeah? The conversation that I had with the individual was option deals, wonderful instrument, but only where there's no distress. So the problem, I'm not going to go into detail into that, but you can buy without a mortgage, and that is if you've got $250,000 to play with, and you can't buy in London, you can buy without a mortgage outside of London. So that topic is itself completed. So don't think of London as the only place you're going to buy properties. Open your minds up and realize if your risks are covered in property. What did I say? Someone who's going to hold your hand through the purchasing process, going to be managing it for you, making sure you get your maximum yield, even covering risks to do with losing rentals when tenants leave or you have problems. If you have a good company that actually understands the nature of property and the risks in property, then yes, you buy a property without a mortgage. What do you do then? This now goes to the area, the tall gentleman on the left-hand side, is finance. Because clever businesses, most clever businesses go in with cash, because cash is king. If I've got a lot of money in my pocket, it's going to be easier for me to want for people to come and talk to me because they know I've got money in my pocket, if that's what you're looking for. Okay? Now the clever thing is, when you are a strong business head or you're a clever property developer, having cash is king. But the issue is, once you've bought something with cash, you want to use some more money. So what do? Are you stuck? Yes. But if you're clever to do the refinance at the right, remember the valuation matter I spoke about? If it's not overvalued and it's got a real value in it, then taking the money out makes sense. If you're going to overvalue and take money out, then you're creating a problem for yourself all the way along that journey. So in this market, where the values are somewhat real outside of London, that's when you would be going to someone like Mr. Singh, who would be able to look at the way you could take finance out cleverly and then use that money to acquire more stock. And again, it's a self-completing cycle. If you're buying at the right value, everything else you buy is always going to make you money. You're not going to lose money anyway. There is a very smart-looking gentleman at the back there. Happens to be the same name. I don't know if he's mimicking me or something, but he seems to look like my younger brother. His name is Salim. He'd like to stand up, I think. This is a gentleman that we predominantly work with. This gentleman is the type of person who will create that financial cycle for you. He'll make good money and give you that cycle to start acquiring more assets. He is a commercial expert. I'm going to call him up. I'm going to ask him to give you a very simple case study to make you understand how in this market you can make money off finance, and it doesn't have to be something that's going to put you into a difficult debt situation. Is that agreed that everyone has this problem at the moment?
Yes.
So Salim, I'm going to give you the mic, no rapping. Just talk about, in case he starts rapping. Just tell him, give him a case study of a typical situation now. Come to the front. I actually expected you to be at the front. You're shying away. There you are. The one you're doing now in the garden?
Hi everybody, you alright? I can't rap, so no video rapping. If anybody can rap, they're free to come up and take over. I probably deal with all the financing. I've been a financial advisor for the last 15 years. As Salim, I'm Salim number 2 by the way. Yeah, that's Salim number 1. So basically, on the finance side of things, I mean, we have a couple of cases at the moment where we're looking at raising finance. Obviously, we've got deals, any discounted deals, distressed deals, they need to be financed very quick. So we have lenders in place, we have private lenders who we have direct access to, and we can raise funds to purchase the property and then refinance out. Obviously, if there's a discount in place, we can actually move within days to actually complete the transaction. I mean, we have a case at the moment up north where I think we got a call on, I think it was Thursday, and the offer's in place, the valuation is booked for Monday, and we're complete on Tuesday. Yeah. Obviously, it's a heavily discounted property, and so the client had to move fast. Okay, or else a buyer could go in. Yeah. So we've leveraged the asset itself, and then it's a bridging loan, okay, for a 3-month period, and we'll refinance out in our own time to a better deal. Yeah. So that's what we can do. Okay, there are instruments in place, there's lenders in place where we can move very quickly to help you purchase that property and start the process. As Salim number 1 says, you start the process, you get yourself into a position where you purchase the property, refinance to a standard lender, and then we move on from there. Yeah? Okay? Any questions at all? Anybody? Yeah? Yes?
Yeah, so Salim, it seems to me that you offer bridging loans. Is it bridging loans?
We can offer bridging loans, commercial mortgages, to be honest, any kind of finance. It doesn't have to be a bridging loan. Bridging loans obviously are for a specific purpose. Yeah, you always need an exit in place when you have a bridging loan. I mean, I come across clients who have taken bridging loans or have been sold bridging loans without an eye on what's going to happen next. Yeah, so therefore, I mean, I've had to bridge people out of bridging loans because the broker who sold it in the first place got them into a position where there was no exit in place. Yeah, I will always make sure there's an exit in place. There is a way out. Yeah, lenders always ask, "What's the exit?" To be honest, let's be honest. On an application form, you can put anything down. Yeah, but as a financial advisor or a financial professional, I will make sure that the client has an exit in place. For example, I mean, bridging loans do have a bad name. They are expensive, but it's a tool for a purpose. Yeah. Now, I get asked questions: what's the cost of a bridging loan? Okay. If I say to you 1% a month on average, you're going to calculate 1 times 12. That's 12%. That's expensive. Okay. Not if it's a 3-month bridging loan. If you're buying a property at a discount, yeah, and you're going to make money at the end of it, and you're going to have it for 3 months, that's actually 3%. You're paying for a loan that you can raise within 3 or 4 days, sometimes with a valuation, sometimes without, yeah? So, and then at the end of it, you're completing a transaction very quickly where you're going to make 100 grand or whatever at the end of it, yeah? So, anybody with any kind of, from a financial side of things, any advisor with any kind of sense will make sure their client has an exit in place. Yeah, I mean, I have an exit in place for this client already. There's a remortgage. I've got an offer. I've got an AIP in place for the remortgage already. Yeah.
Thanks.
Any questions? So it's not just bridging loans. Bridging loans are a tool to complete a transaction very quickly if we need it. Yeah. There are tools for an emergency situation, and as long as the tool is right for used for the right purpose, yeah, and not misused, yeah, that's the issue.
Does it apply to buy to let, or only does it apply to mortgages buy to let?
Sorry, bridging loans? Or
Whether bridging loans or
yeah,
any kind
of course. I mean, when we talk about property, we're talking about a broad spectrum. We're talking about residential property, we're talking about HMOs, retail units, land with or without permission. So development loans, we can do development loans as well. If you have additional property, we can get you 100%, right? There are lenders out there who will do 100% of the purchase price and the cost of the development. Yeah? Whether that be...
Very important
and that's
point.
without any wrapping, thank you.
It's very important, 100% and 100%.
100%, yes.
Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
No.
100% purchase and 100% on the development cost.
Yeah.
Now,
We're not putting any money.
that can be whether you have a corner property and you want to build either an extension on it or another property, split the title, sell one off, or whether you've got a big garden and you want to put 2 bungalows at the back. I've got a client with 4 acres in Essex, I won't say where, and he's going to put 24 bungalows on there and a nursing home, yeah. And he's got assets and stuff. But to be honest, development loans, as long as the deal stacks up, yeah. As long as you can pitch it right to the lender or the investors, yeah. I mean, to be honest, on a development, you need lenders looking for about 25-30% profit at the end of it, including contingencies. I'm going to go into detail now, but to be honest, from a finance point of view, whether you have lots of assets or not, as long as the deal stacks up, it's doable. Yeah. As long as there's profit in it, as long as everything's covered, the interest rate. I mean, obviously, let's be honest. What is money? What are loans? Whether it's a development loan or a bridging loan? It's a product. Money is a product, and it's priced. It has a price. It's priced according to risk, according to the circumstances under which it's lent. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Is everything? Yeah. Any questions? If you do have any questions, obviously just come and see me afterwards.
Yeah.
Or after you've seen Bobby, of course.
Thank you very much, Lee. Even though I speak to him on a regular basis, I managed to stay awake. Thank you very much. Okay, to move on. I'm going to break it down a bit, because there's lots of things I'm telling you, and there's certain things that may stick and certain things won't make sense, and if I start giving you too much information, it's going to become boring again. I don't want to bore you guys. I want to make sure that everybody in this room wants to talk to one of us, whether it's development, finance, just a strategy to understand how it works. Okay, so I'm going to go now to try and introduce to you the team somewhat, and this is just the high level people. So everybody in this room that you've got here are head office based, so you've got the main players in the business. So the good thing is you're going to have direct access to a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, and then obviously if and when you decide to come and see us or there's anything that we provide for you, then you'll get to know individuals as well. So can I ask Lucky to do this? Oh, is it Sunny doing it? Okay. Bobby, we all... I can't speak that fast. Okay, try again. Okay, we'll go back. We're going forward. We're going back. Well, even this is fun. Just watch the screen, see what happens. Oh, right, we're at the end now. We're going back again? Oh, we come... Okay, where are we? We're going back? Okay. Okay, right. Myself, I will big myself up. Pardon?
Is that possible?
No, it isn't actually. Okay, basically I've got a lot of experience in business. Just keeping it very simple. Okay, I know how to develop business models. In property, it's even easier. Like I said, property itself is a very simple tool. It's not complicated. It's just the financial instruments make it complicated. Like Salim clearly said, it's a commodity. You buy it and you have to pay a price for it. That's all. Take it away. Buying a property is a simple matter. Now that's not to undermine Sunny, who's at the end, who has a lot of experience under his belt in the legal profession. So I'm not going to say it's that easy, but there is a purpose in having people like Sunny around who can give you detailed advice. He's not on the screen because, again, it was a last minute call, his attendance, but you've actually got a very seasoned professional there who will make you understand this is again something you're buying into when you come to In One Move Nationwide or to management consultants for you, and that is property and purchasing property is not a simple game anymore. This is something I try to tell everybody I go and see, that you can't just be simplistic in property. You have to have a strategy, which comes back to us consulting people and making sure that we hold your hand through the process. But even in the way you purchase, is it through a limited company? Is it an individual? You need to have someone who's an expert in the legal areas to make sure you purchase and you purchase correctly without unnecessarily incurring taxation. Now this is something and the gentlemen and the ladies in this room who are already seasoned property investors, they'll know there's a recent change in the law regarding being taxed for your interest. Being taxed for your interest wasn't on the cards before. It was a mitigative tool, because if you've got to pay interest, why should you pay tax on interest? The problem now is the average portfolio owner who's paying between 50 to 100,000 pounds in interest payment is now going to get taxed on that as well. So can you really afford to just buy a property on your name? Think about it. Can you really just say, oh, I'm going to buy the property and I'll buy it in my name and I'll buy 10 and then I'll be a millionaire? Do you really need to be a millionaire on paper? Do you not need to be a millionaire in reality? So be careful about how you acquire as well. And that's where the likes of someone like Sunny is very important, because he will also be someone you can always go back to and actually make sure that the structure under which you purchase is tax efficient. And we're not talking about the matter of, we're talking about avoidance, aggressive avoidance as the government calls it. They can't call it evasion, so they call it aggressive avoidance. But basically what they're saying is, why can't we get our hands on your money? And if you want to be smart in when you acquire properties, you want to make sure you're not paying unnecessarily above the odds. Is that agreed? Does everybody like to keep money in their pocket? You know, and it's hard work. Remember, it's hard work money. It's not, it hasn't been handed to you in a plate. You work for it. Okay, so my background. Why have you don't like my name? Did you change my name?
I thought you finished.
Okay, no. Just to tell you, that's the type of thing I've done. It's boring, but it's basically business. So I know how to make money, I know how to raise money, I know how to make businesses, boring stuff. But it will help you when you're talking about property as a business. If you think property is a personal thing, then that's where I will tell you need to rethink. Lucky Singh, again, been in property for so long, and joint ventures. I say this in a joke sometimes, but if there was a rabbit that even bought a property and had a mortgage, Lucky Singh knows about it. That's how much you know. And this is not a joke. If you know anybody who is a property guru, networker, professional, if you know them, he knows them before you. That's how good he is. So he will know about people you're probably dealing with and you're not quite clear about them, but he's a good source of information and, again, advice when you're trying to come into the property world. And again, 11 million, he's a millionaire and has gone around, literally has gone around the houses and seen the business as an industry rise and fall. So he's one of those people who's actually experienced it. And obviously he's a better speaker than I am. That's why I'm not letting him get on the stage today, because I want a new career for myself. But he's a prolific speaker as well. You'll see him in lots of YouTube videos, property network clubs, even I think it was Sky Television. So he's done all this stuff, and
Dragon's Den.
Dragon's Den. So he's basically like the Tom Cruise of In One Move Nation. Next, Bobby. You've all seen her now, so you know what she looks like, and she is the lady that everybody needs to woo. Okay, so if you don't have her number, you need to get it before you leave today. Basically, and this is her motto, and this is not, and I'll be very honest about it, it's not her motto as per se her going around telling people, but this is the way she works. She likes to be reliable. She actually, literally, you know, there's an element of credibility behind her, because she doesn't like to say what she can't do. She'll tell you what she can do. If she can't do it, she'll tell you, thank you very much, I can't do that for you. You can't buy a property for £10,000. She'll tell you. But if she can get to you for 20 or 25, she'll tell you. And that's not a lot of money to spend in property nowadays. Okay? Goes back to that special formula, look outside of London. Okay, and then again, she is the lady who actually, now this is for the people who are quite seasoned here, people who've got slightly larger pockets, who are looking for the big deals. She controls every deal from one property, which is probably, I think the lowest value property you could get access to outside of London is what, Beth?
60,000.
Just hear it from the lady herself.
60,000.
Now, did anyone think they could buy a property in this market at 60,000? Did anybody know that? So come on. So what I'm trying to say to you is, think outside the box. 60,000, what's the largest that you got in your control?
55 million.
Whoops. Did I hear million? 55 million, that's without a joke. So it's probably, what is it?
That's a hotel. A hotel?
Okay, so you've got the large deals as well that she's got control of. And all of these deals, I believe they're mandated, you have control of them. There you are. So it's all credible stuff. Like I said, credibility, reliability. And then at the end of it, obviously, she's good at her numbers, so she understands if a deal makes sense. Again, something you want. If you're a first time coming, you want to make sure, does it make money for me? Is it got capital growth in it? Buying at the wrong price, then you've lost. Next. We haven't got Sonny up here, but Sonny, the smart looking gentleman at the end there, he is deep in legals, so he's the type of guy you would always want in your pocket. And I think a lot of you people probably know, you know, the successful business people, they always have a team of the devil with them. Not say he's the devil, but they have good solicitors behind them, barristers behind them. Do you know that? Yes. Problem is, you normally can't afford it because, you know, if you're a mid or a low term investor, you're not going to have a solicitor who's at the end of the phone for you. It's not going to work. But the difference between Sonny is he is very approachable, so you won't need to worry about the time ticker and the clock on you and you lose it. He will give you genuine, sincere advice as a person. Forget about the business. Does that make sense? So you have that again coming from In One Move Nationwide. Okay, one-stop shop for property success. Right, it says as it is there. General principles we work on. I think the baby has worked something out. What's she saying? Is it a he or a she? Is it she? What's she saying? What's the girl's in mind?
Are you going to say something?
This might be the tip of the future.
I reckon she's the one with the money. Clever, I like that. She's got the bank account, not you. Yeah, good. Okay. So we know now, if you want any money at the back, what's her name again, sorry?
Lambani.
Labani's the lady to contact then, yeah? Okay. Basically, the general thing, just if you don't take anything else away from here, just take it, it's very simple. Anybody in property who's got money already coming in, what they want to do is they want to reduce the cost, because if you reduce cost, you have more money to play with. Agreed?
Yeah.
If you have less money to play with, you have less money to spend. Agreed? Simple. So what you want to do is to reduce cost. That means you have more money to play with, which means obtaining liquidity. So you have money to then use to buy new stock. And then obviously when you have that, and you have the strategy behind, so what did I say at the beginning? If you don't know where you are, how do you know where you're going? So if you understand how to devise a strategy, I've only got 0 properties today, but after 5 years I want to have at least 5 buy-to-lets with X amount of income, etc., etc. That then creates a reason for you taking money out. Not because you want to go on a holiday, because that will come afterwards. Remember, money has its own vices, and when you get easy money because of assets, people start buying and spending on things that don't mean anything. It's rather better to have a cycle, a strategy that stick to, and after 5 years you have more money than you need. Then you can enjoy yourself. Then it becomes residual income, and you can give it to charity. I mean, a lot of the people in this room are from different parts of the world. I'm sure you have lots of brothers, kin, people who probably would give you a prayer because you're able to pay them a solid bit of money every year to charity or something. But this is personal goals, okay? So, moving on. Are we finished on the slides? Okay. So, what are we? We're small enough, because we're sitting here with everybody here. So, whether you're no property person or you're a millionaire, we're small enough to talk to you. But we're big enough to have the solutions behind us, which is what people want. You want access to Rolls Royce, but you don't want to pay for it. Okay. I've been given 2 or 3 counts that we're about to. How much have we got? Oh, you're just waving to me. Oh, you're just waving at me. Okay, cool. I like that. Okay, cool.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. So, next slide. Last one. Okay. Same thing, it's just repeating what we got. So it's the boring bit, but it's about getting money and being able to grow. If you haven't got a property, I've told you the strategy. Look outside of London and make sure you acquire so you can come back into London at the right time. Okay? Next. Again, the same thing, all boring stuff. Next. That's Bobby there. Next. That's Salim at the back. Next. Mr. Singh. I'm going to give Mr. Singh the end bit. I'm not going to come back after this because I'm tired. But he will finish off. But the purpose, I hope, you're taking away from this is that there is a way of getting properties without a mortgage, and there is a way of getting money from property so that you can acquire more, and that is clever finance, clever acquisition, looking outside of London and looking at different ways of acquiring, and have someone's gonna hold your hand. It's not gonna just sell you the property and get rid of your problems. They're gonna be with you with the asset, and that if you're buying at the right value, you're making money, they'll make money with you as well. Okay, so I'm going to hand over to Lucky Singh, who's the last presenter. Sunny, you're not boring us, are you?
If you want me to, I can bore you.
I want Sunny to bore us first. Can you give Sunny a pitch first? Just gives you a high-level brief, but the thing is you've heard him, you've seen him, and at least you know who you can come to, and you can take the numbers off Bobby later on. And then at the end, we're going to have Mr. Singh put us all to sleep.
I won't take up too much of your time. 1, because I'm a lawyer, and 2, I don't know much about the stuff that these guys know as much about. Crucially, I think the advantage that these guys really have, and I'm not part of their organisation, I'm independent, but I give advice to their clients. They've got the breadth. So whether you are a novice in terms of just buying your first property, or whether you've got big developments worth 30, 40 million, they've got the breadth. It's crucial because in the current marketplace, finding that right property at the right price is the key thing. You make a profit on acquisition, you don't make a profit on disposal. That is the key thing. These guys have got properties from Glasgow to the south coast throughout the entirety of the UK, so please use that asset. Hello, hand over to Lucky.
Thank you, Sandy. Okay, so I'm going to make my bit very quick because we're very short of time. We've got about 2 minutes, is that right? Okay. So to cut to the chase, we heard our friend Salim, number 2, talk about bridging, so I'm not going to talk about that. In addition, if you're looking for money, we've got very, very clever ways of actually getting money for you. So if you come and meet with us, you'll be surprised at the things we can do. Like Salim said, we have actually physically got a rabbit a mortgage before. That's a joke. That was a bit of a fluffy joke. Sorry. Okay, boom. So we could do 100% development funding, buy-to-let funding, unsecured funding. We managed to get a client who couldn't get any money anywhere. He was actually bankrupt. I got him £600,000 worth of cash in 4 weeks from about 7 different sources. He was bankrupt. How did I do that? I'll tell you when you come and see me or see our organisation. But I'll tell you behind closed doors. We didn't kill anybody or rob the bank or anything like that. So, joint venture funding, we've got access to billionaires who are happy to fund projects, and they might want to take a certain percentage of the profits, but if you find something, you can't finance it. It's easy money for old rope. Yeah. Then we also do all forms of business funding as well. So I've just got a business that's actually negatively turning over money at the moment, but I still managed to raise £50,000 which was released this morning. How does that work? The mind boggles.
Tell us when we see you.
Yep. Okay, all the different stuff that we do, you can look at our websites, blah, 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 we can talk to you. So this is a list: raising finance, sourcing off-market property, improving cash flows, cost reduction, managing interest rate risks, debt management, managing all your risks. All these are quite obvious things we can do. But one of the most important things I want you to realize is, why would you want to come to us and not anybody else? Now, this is something that I've carried out a survey with all our clients over the last 10 years, and this is the feedback that we had from about 95% of them. So, on average, anybody with about 10 properties, we've actually made them between £10,000 and up to £1 million. That's a lot of money. Or we've actually saved them £10,000 or up to £1 million worth of fees. Or I can give you those live case studies when you come and see us, or if you have an interest in what we're doing. But we haven't got time to go into tons of detail on that now. So what I'm going to do is finish off now. But Nonso has asked me to try and bring some value. So I thought, okay, how do I bring value to a new family that we found today? So you are the new family. So how do we bring value to you? So I found probably 5 ways of bringing you value, but I didn't want to overwhelm you with my love. So what I've done is I've given you 3 things. The other 2 come for free when you fill in the registration form as well. So the first is offering a free portfolio analyzer, which helps you establish where you are with your portfolio. It doesn't matter whether you've got 1 property, whether you've got 500, this portfolio analyzer will analyze things to death so you know where you're going. It's comprehensive and it's got a lot of other information to it, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. We're also offering a free 30-minute consultation on a business topic you wish to address, or it may be related to something you already have or a deal that you have, so it doesn't matter what it is. So you're welcome to set up a meeting and come and meet with us. We're going to give you a form that we're going to give out in a couple of minutes now to all of you. If you fill that out very quickly, unfortunately we've got to put phone numbers on there. So you just put your phone number on there as well, otherwise it'll be difficult to contact you. So everything else is on there, but if you fill that in very quickly, we're just going to give that out now. So you get the pleasure of actually meeting Bobby as well, so you can bring the papers around to you, and Sandy. And the last thing is, we're going to do a business strength report for you. And I think can you tell us what the business strength report was?
Basically, it's a very simple tool. If you're in property already, it'll give you all your good bits and your bad bits, so you know what to do, what to get rid of, or what to improve. If you're in business and you've got property, again, it combines both things, and generally just gives you a clear indication of where you are. For so many people, obviously, who don't have property, you can just use it for your personal matters. So it doesn't have to be property, just be, I'm here, and I want to get to there. What do I need to get to there? So it will give you a comprehensive understanding of your risks and the things you want to counter in those risks, and more importantly, what your strengths are, how you work on your strengths. So it gives you an understanding of how to go from where you are to where you want to get to, and it's not mandatory for you to have properties.
Okay, fantastic. So I think we're pretty much covered. So thank you very much for all your time. Mohammed is going to pass you back to Nonso now, but if you could kindly fill in these forms and make sure you put your phone numbers on them. And even if you're new, you haven't got any properties, don't know anything, we're happy to actually give you a free consultation and spread the love. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Salim. Thank you, Lucky. Thank you so much. Okay.